Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Carrie Mignano. I'm so happy to have you here. I just brewed my afternoon coffee. I'm sitting here with my daughter, Maddie, and I am making you say, hey baby. Hi. And I am making you guys this video, which I have been meaning to make for over a month now, but it's just one of those topics that I was nervous to talk about, and that is the fact that I quit breastfeeding. So it's been about a month. I actually weaned right around the time she was 6 months old. And honestly, I have to just say up front that we both are so happy and I have no regrets about my decision. But I just wanted to walk you all through, for any of you mamas out there that just question, am I doing the right thing, am I not? Kind of my experience, and hopefully it can relate to you in some way. Okay, so here's the deal. When I was pregnant, this is gonna probably sound weird to some of you, but also maybe relate to some of you as well, but I just didn't necessarily look forward to breastfeeding. I wasn't one of those gung-ho, I'm going to breastfeed moms. And I think maybe that came from just being a little bit nervous. Like, I don't know, I don't know what it was. I just didn't necessarily look forward to it. But sure enough, as soon as I gave birth, I went into this full, like, I've got to breastfeed. I just need to make sure that she gets all the nutrients she needs, and we got to make sure she latches right. And I just wanted to make sure that she was breastfeeding. It was the weirdest thing. Like, I don't know, it must have been the hormones or just that mom in me, like, coming through. However, the funny thing, well, not really funny actually, but the interesting thing is that she ended up, sure enough, not latching well. So I worked with like 2 to 3 different lactation consultants at the hospital who couldn't necessarily get her to latch. She also had jaundice that first week, and so we had to ultimately give her a bottle of formula, just a little bit, 1 to 2 ounces, after I tried breastfeeding every time, to make sure that the bilirubin kind of went through her. So I don't know if having that nipple confusion maybe confused her a bit, and that's why she wasn't latching well. I'm not quite sure, but basically within the first 3 weeks of her life, I got mastitis. This is how she feels about this, you guys. I got mastitis twice, and it's like basically an infection from clogged ducts because they're not emptying the milk from your boob, and that was because she was not latching well. So anyway, after 3 weeks, after, you know, multiple lactation consultant visits, I just decided ultimately to just end up pumping. And so I pumped exclusively till she was 3 months old, until I got to a point where I just could not keep up with it anymore. I was so exhausted from pumping every 3 hours, 24 hours a day. And this was not during the times that I was actually heating up the milk from the fridge and giving her a bottle. It was basically twice the amount of work, in my opinion, and it just was too much. So ultimately we ended up just supplementing with formula after 3 months old, and it just turned out that she actually just really reacted to formula a lot better than my own milk. So another reason that just really was tough was because she had a milk protein allergy. So for 6 months, couldn't have any sort of milk, dairy, anything. So that became really tough as well. So around 3 months, we started supplementing formula, and it just turned out that she just seemed to not only like it better, but her stomach reacted better to it, and it was relieving a little bit of pressure from me from having to keep up with pumping along with feeding her bottles. And it also allowed, you know, my husband and my mom and, you know, her other grandma to be able to feed Maddie, which helped out a lot. What's interesting is I am typically such a confident person in my decisions. I'm very decisive. But when it comes to being a mom, I just really questioned myself, and you just question everything you do. So that first bottle of formula that I gave her, because people are so pro breastfeeding, I literally felt like I was committing a crime, because I just knew that, you know, most pediatricians and lactation consultants, they will do anything to try to make sure that you are able to breastfeed. And a lot of the reason why I decided to make this video was to let people know that ultimately, if, you know, you end up for whatever reason having to give your baby formula or deciding to, it's, you know, they end up living and they end up being okay. All right, so basically what happened from that 3 to 6 month period was that we just continued to increase the amount of bottles that she was having of formula, and ultimately she kept doing better and better. Less stomach issues, her poops were becoming more normal, and honestly, the more it freed up time for me. Now, I do work from home as well as taking care of her full time, so it was tough. I mean, it's just tough to manage everything, but the ultimate reason why I quit breastfeeding and why I woke up one day right around the time she hit 6 months old was because of my postpartum hormones. So, a lot of people talk about postpartum depression. I did not have postpartum depression. I generally feel very happy. I didn't have postpartum depression, but what I did struggle a lot with was postpartum anxiety. So just these constant anxious feelings, constantly like, oh my gosh, what if this happens? Or what if this happens? Or what if this happens? Things that would keep me up at night. You know, all the joy of having a baby was kind of stripped from me initially because I was just so worried about what could potentially happen to her instead of being in the moment and just enjoying the time that we had together. And ultimately, that was a huge struggle for me, and I knew that it had a lot to do with my hormones. The reason why I knew that was because my first trimester I dealt with extreme nausea, acne, everything. I mean, the hormones just exploded throughout my body, and I also had those same anxious feelings. Now, they regulated towards my second and third trimester, but they came back strong after I gave birth. And so one day I just woke up when she was 6 months old. I knew I was gonna be weaning at some point soon, but I just couldn't get myself to do it. I just felt like, oh my gosh, am I a bad mother for not wanting to breastfeed, for wanting to quit, for feeling like she does better off on formula than something that I can produce. However, I woke up one day with just full-blown anxiety. Like, I could not function. I was just so anxious. And I just knew. I was like, I've just got to be done with these postpartum hormones. I just have got to be done. So ultimately, that very day, I decided to wean. I weaned within like 5 days. I went from like 5 pump sessions to 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. Probably not the best idea, but ultimately, when I had made that decision that I was done, I was done. I just massaged and I did everything that I could to make sure that I didn't get clogged ducts or mastitis again. But I will tell you that I'm so glad, no regrets that I made it to 6 months. However, it was the best decision that I could have made to be able to stop when I did. She is doing so well on formula. She's growing, she's at the top of her growth charts. She's super healthy, happy, and we're both so much happier. And I just feel such a relief, and I feel just more at peace, more relaxed, and those hormones are just long gone, and we are so happy. So anyway, it was definitely the right decision for us, but I know that every mom has to make their own decision, every family has to make their own decision, and you just have to go with your gut and do what's best for you guys. So hopefully that helps you guys, and if you have any sort of, you know, similar experiences or any comments below, I'd love to hear kind of your path with breastfeeding. You can comment below. All right, thanks guys. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. Bye.